Woohoo! Welcome back to another edition of Geeks Assembled Audio Heads. Lee Wilson's here with me, and I'm in a bright spot. And I'd like to invite you to join us every week. If you like and subscribe to our channel, Geeks Assembled will be really happy for that. Second thing is, this week we're discussing A Mission to Magnus, starring the inimitable Nabil Shaban and Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, and some other famous folks that were playing some other great characters. But yeah, we just lost Nabil Shaban recently, and so our condolences to him and his family, but to the reality of the Doctor, he was an amazing he was an amazing monster and antagonist. He wasn't really the villain. He was more an antagonist. He was a thorn in the side of the the people of Gallifrey, actually, because he really had set something up so that this other Time Lord was stuck. And so, with all that to be said, yeah, what's your opening thoughts, Lee, on the mission to Magnus?
Well, Mission to Magnus by Philip Martin,
That's right.
who's no longer with us now. He passed away about 6 years ago. Um, this was, as we say, scheduled for the lost season 23 of the TV series before it was totally scrapped. Luckily, Philip Martin novelised his script back in the day, so they had something to work on. Yes, you will see the return of Syl, played by Nabil. So this would have been his second appearance in Doctor Who if this had been on the TV. Yeah, we're on the planet Magnus, where Syl is. His race is it called the Mentors, but he's the traders, aren't they? They're trading things. It's just all about trading and money with them making a profit. Um,
They must have inspired the Ferengis.
mm,
Huh.
yeah,
Maybe.
it could, maybe you never know.
Mhm.
But yeah, on Magnus, you've got the ruling class of women,
Mhm.
strong women. The Madam, is it Rana, who is the sort of the chief of all the clan, played by Maggie Steed, great British actress. We saw her last week. We watched a movie last week with the Dr. Panassus. She was in that,
Yeah.
dancing with Johnny Depp. Yeah, it's the format of the season on TV where it's two 45-minute episodes. And I do like the way they say stuck to that format for that season. Um, yeah, you've got Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor, you've got Nicola Bryant as Peri, and then at the end of episode one, it's the return of the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
Which you think Syl's the villain of the piece, but no, it's the Ice Warriors who want to claim the planet for their own, to change the trajectory of the planet, um, so they can make it more habitable for their species, to call it the new Mars. Which great concept, and it doesn't dip, it doesn't slow, it flows evenly, and you've got children in this as child actors. I do have a gripe about that though, but I will get to that when I go into my things I'm not keen on.
Okay.
So yeah, it's great that we got these eventually made. just think how it would have been on TV. Would it have been better back then, or has audio really made it more grandeur? I think so. Because if it was J&T still at the helm, you know, it'd been Hawaiian shirts and glitter. Um, but yeah, so that's my opening thoughts. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was great to re-listen to this Mission to Magnus. Back to you, Susan.
All right. Well, this the character that I really wanted to bring some pointedness to is the character of Ulima. Ulima, played by Tina Jones. Ulima, and in so many ways, Ulimo seemed a bit like Susan, Spock, or Yoda. These crazy characters of alien origin, as like a counterpoint to Syl. Syl was like the grumpier form of alien cuteness, and Ulimo is the cute form of alien cuteness. I don't know. That's just they had both of them, so that was fun. And then the other thing was, yeah, he wasn't the still wasn't the primary antagonist. Actually, it was Grand Marshal. What was his name? Um, Ishka. Uh, the Grand Marshal was incredible, and um, and the voicing of the Ice Warriors was a little different than it was in the show. I gotta tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded a bit like Darth Maul. It sounded like they were. Darth Maul speaks with a really quiet, uh, sort of throaty whisper, and not just a whisper because there's no air, but like a throaty whisper because there's a lot of. I mean, you won't see it in their eyes, but there's a lot of stuff going on down here. And then they talk. I don't know how. You know me, I can't do these impressions, but that's the way it was. That's the way it sounded. And so I kind of like that. I like that a lot about the Ice Warriors vocalization this time. And I kind of enjoyed the way that they were utilizing. It wasn't nucleics or anything like that. It was like these quantum neutrino bombs or something like that, and they actually pushed the planet. They were talking about pushing the planet on its axis, but they were they were actually pushing it out of the sweet temperate spot in the orbit out into the cold frozen spot. So it was like increasing the orbital distance from their sun, basically like running a impulse engine a bit to drive the planet out. Like
Yeah.
a station wagon full of kids driving out of a garage, the safe space of a garage. Anyway, yeah, the bombs were interesting. Like that was a really good thing. And then the fact that they had some extra ones at the end. I'll just say that. And then yeah, there was a cultural sort of 80s feel to the way the women were written. It was very like evil feminists. Like at the beginning of this the beginning of the like the first 2/3 of the first part of this, the first episode. There are 2 episodes, but the first part seemed to me like these were these were like what they would call the like wicked feminists or fighting feminists, whatever that was in the 80s, and
Mhm.
you know it was definitely different. It felt like uh, it felt like this was a real push on that timeliness, on that specific moment in time,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
correct.
I really picked that up because there was a lot of kickback on the other side of that. On the second part, they actually, when they, you know, kind of uh, were suddenly in the presence of the men from the other planet, the Vedicale planet or whatever it was. Yeah, not the Vedicale planet. Um, I can't remember what the planet's called. I didn't write it down. But anyway, oh, the Salvakian. That's right.
Hmm.
The and that kind of sounded like Slovakian to me. So like there was that whole like Czech versus Brit kind of thing that went on back then. But uh, they sounded like really like just male chauvinists. So we had female chauvinists and male chauvinists, and like that was part of the zeitgeist of the time. It was part of the mentalities, and it was well directed by uh, Lisa Bowerman, and Lisa didn't play any characters, but there was the cast was really amazing, and the Rana Zandustia, not with a G, with a D, I think, was played by Maggie C. Like Lee said, and like just a really cool British actress, and it really did sound like it sounded like you know the way that like you've seen the portrayal of Mary Queen of Scots,
Hmm.
and that's the way she sounded. She sounded like she was portraying Mary Queen of Scots. And yeah, and then there was this Anzor character, this other Time Lord, who was just like, who was a piece of work. Oh my gosh. It's like, he was like a bully and an insulting character to the doctor and to his friends in school. Oh my gosh. And then there was the kid named Vian, and I'm like, is this a young Brett Vian? I mean, I was thinking,
Spelt differently.
oh, okay, I didn't know. It's just it was crazy. And the ring, and all the women had these rings, and I was like, rings of power? Huh? I wonder where that little tidbit came up. Anyway, it was very J.R.R. Tolkien there with all the rings of power changing the world for them. And so yeah, that's all my notes. I actually took a whole bunch of notes, and I was really thorough in my investigation of this audio adventure. And so yeah, over to you, Lee. Is there stuff that you like, stuff that you didn't like, stuff
Yeah,
that came
sure
up,
is.
and any notes that you have, especially the stuff that you didn't like, because I heard that you were going to talk about some of that.
Well,
Go,
you were
Lee.
right. You were right about the Ice Warriors voices. Nicholas Briggs, who did some of them, distinctly made the Grand Marshal similar sounding to the Grand Marshals what appeared in the TV series because their voices were sort of different. He sort of changed certain Ice Warriors with lower tones just to
Uh-huh.
differentiate from other Ice Warriors. So good, your hearing's good there. That's you notice that. Yes, there was feminism, feminists, and also there was chauvinists, male chauvinists. It was because, as you say, it was written for the mid 80s when all this was going on, so that's was why it was in this script. Um, um, yeah, the character of Anzo, another Time Lord we've never met before. This one was the school bully at the academy, and used to pick on the Doctor and beat him with his I can't remember what he called it now, his stick. Um, but turns out he's all mouth, but when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to it, he's a coward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then and this is the part I'm not so keen on. Nothing against the young actor William Townsend playing Vion. Yeah, yes, he's a child actor. Back then he was anyway. There was no real feeling or emotion in his voice. I just got that he was there, stood in a recording booth, just reading lines. Um, yes, okay, he's a child actor, but the word here is actor, and for me, that wasn't very good acting. You got all the other actors putting feeling, emotion, excitement, dread into the voices. For me, Vion just felt like he was just reading the line with nothing there behind it.
Hmm.
And and that sort of took me out of the story every time he spoke. Um, I don't know. Maybe they should have got a more experienced child actor. I don't know, but yeah, I was just it just didn't sound right every time he spoke. You know what I mean, Susan? There was no if there was something bad happening, there was no dread or fear in his voice. It was just just a line just read as if if Colin was reading a line of dread or fear, you'd feel it in his voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the only great for me was. I know I'm dissing on a young kid back there, but but apart from that, it's just great to have Sil. You know, just the iconic voice, the iconic laugh. And it okay, he's in a recording booth, but you're picturing Sil, and I know, and in the behind the scenes at the end of this story, he was worried. Could he still do Sil without wearing the costume? Because he said to get the character, you need to be in the costume, but he pulled it off.
Yeah, you did.
And as you say, he passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Real recent.
it was a few months back. What a career! His disability didn't hold him back. You know, he never gave up. He had a tough life. He had a tough life,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't stop him. It didn't stop him following his dream.
Right.
So and he goes down in Doctor Who history as one of the greatest villains ever created by the writer and Nabil Shaban. Because it comes down to good writing, good characterization, and a good actor to pull it off.
Right.
So, but yeah, just say what could have been for this season here. First story with Celestial Toymaker. Second story, Sil and the Ice Warriors.
Uh,
Yeah, but luckily, big
One who
finish.
just needed a little moisturizing, and the others who needed a little a little refrigerating.
But yeah, so luckily Big Finish have done these, and so we do have season 23 really.
Right?
The pity there's a couple of stories what are missing because there was no real scripts written for them. It was just an idea. But maybe somebody will take that by that bull with by the horns and create something with yellow fever and how to cure it.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Well, they did reach into the Virgin New Adventures and get uh what is it, human the human blood or something. It's the one where the doctor is at a school and he's put his reality into the
Human nature.
human nature
Yeah, but
of the blood. Yeah.
that wasn't a lost story though.
No, I know, but I mean, just like that, they could revisit the old books, the old.
Yeah, but yellow fever and how to cure it was never written down. There was no script. It was just maybe two lines:
Uh,
Singapore, Autons, the Rani, the Master, and that was sort of it. So there was no story, nothing.
uh,
They say Robert Holmes passed away, so he never put pen to paper. So, but at least we've got all the other stories. What should have been.
right.
So yeah, I enjoyed it, Susan. It was a good audio. I look forward to my next pick when it's my choice because I'm still delving into those stories. So,
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's a good direction to go with this, and the issues that these bring up are, you know, they were of their time, but there is an element of these things that reveals how, even though we move ahead a little bit, there's still some folks around that are stuck in the mud, and you know uh, the actors. If we lose them, we're really lucky to have these recordings done now,
mm,
because the the alternative is unconscionable. And just wanted to read some of the other actors. Anzor was played by Malcolm Rennie,
yeah,
and Jamaria and Tace were played by Susan Franklin, and Assam was played by Callum Whitney Mills, and Brogan Vidicel and the Grand Marshal Ishka were played by Nicholas Briggs, like you said, and Scar, Jarga, and Hosa are played by James George. And just an amazing cast all around. And the yeah, the Ice Warriors became even the Doctor explained how this happened, how they used to be more like these guys, the
hmm
ones that were there, you know, creating a new world for themselves. But then they became more sort of the eyes and ears of what did he say? It wasn't like it was like the eyes and ears of justice or something. And it's true. When they were on Peladon, they were primarily focused on ensuring a kind of grace, a kind of
diplomacy.
diplomacy. Exactly. Yes, that's a good word. That's probably what the word that they use too. So in this, they had a lot of they had a long way to go because they were just really they were. It seems to me they were a younger version of the Ice Warriors. They're still really like you know like seeds of blood like Doom. They were all that, and then they're like the Ice Warriors in the second Doctor set. They were like we can push these people around and push the planet around. Might as
Mhm.
well. So that's really where they were, and the the whole discovery that they were armored and stuff that was later too. So there were a few ice warriors that have showed up later on, but this species really was after about this. This was seemingly where they were like, oh, maybe things will have to change. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see that moment. I'd like to see the moment when the Ice Warriors went through their emotional apotheosis, shall we say? I don't know. I'm using the wrong words to describe what I'm saying, but like when they get kind of get through it and become the great diplomats of the galaxy. Yeah, that would be badass to see that. The other thing that I'd really like is to see them maybe with the Yeti or something. There's some crossovers that would be fun with the Ice Warriors,
Fandom crossovers.
right? True. And so all of this to be said, it was a really well written piece. It wasn't like I remember when you were discussing the audio adventure that we listened to last time, how it sounded like the music was really bothersome. This one just had a very sparse musical
Hmm.
score. It didn't overwhelm it. It wasn't coming at. There just wasn't like that constant sort of synth sound, the radiographic, whatever those guys are. Um, Enjoyed it, and so what else do you want to add to this, please?
No, so I enjoyed it. Great acting. Always good to meet another Time Lord.
Hmm.
I say the scene with the Sixth Doctor at the beginning of it, cowering, hiding. You think, wow, that's so out of character from the Doctor. That Anzor must have been really, really bad at Academy to make him cower like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Do you want my final say and score?
Sure. Yes, please.
Enjoyed it. It was great nostalgia. So what we could have had: Ice Warriors, Syl, Peri meeting Syl again. Um, remember last time he tried to change her into a bird.
Oh,
Um,
it was a bunch of feathers.
so I'd say my only gripe was the child actor playing Vion just didn't sound right. Um, so for that reason and that reason alone, it's getting 9 sonic cannons out of 10,
Hmm.
which the Ice Warriors was using.
Yeah, right. Um, let's see. In my estimation, I would give this. I'd agree. It's a nine. This is nine. Snaky tongue. So moments out of 10. That's the one. That's the one interview I listened to on this. Was the one with Nabil Shaban. I just thought that that was so cool, and how he generated this vocalization and this laughter and this sort of commitment to this character through watching snakes. So that was fun. So nine of those out of 10. And I would encourage you to get, if you get a chance, listen to Mission to Magnus. It's Sixty and Peri, uh, you know, compassionately and cowardly trying to, you know, create and comfort these, creatively comfort these beings who are being angrily pushed around their solar system, and they didn't want to be. So that was interesting. Anyway, um, thanks for watching our podcast on YouTube. If you would please, again, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification,
I
and
hate it. I
also,
hate it.
yeah, it did hit that time. And also, if you want to join us, leave us a comment in the lower below this video, please, because we would love to have you. All you have to be is 18, have a device, camera, microphone, Zoom, be willing to meet at 9 p.m. on Sundays, UK time, and also we watch and we review other things. This week we're reviewing Wonder Man. I don't know if there's any links between them, except for the fact that the kid Wonder Man was bullied in school and therefore became this amazing superhero. So, is that like the Doctor? I don't know, dude. I think it might be. Anyway, that's just how it happens here. It's magic. This is magic how these podcasts go with us. And so also leave comments below about your, you know, have you enjoyed watching all the things that Syl was part of, all those Trial of the Time Lord and the other things that Syl was part of. It was all intense. And at this point, this one would have been before trial. Anyway, we'd love to know what you have to say. Thanks for watching. Ta-da!